Friday night in our post-game show, we showed the vision between, and this is after the Panthers lost to the Bulldogs, between Jerome Luai and Jamin Semin, and the disagreement. Gal, you voiced your opinion on our post-show, saying you've got absolutely no problem with what's unfolding there. Gus, for you, is this a conversation as a general manager of football you'd rather them have behind closed doors, or are you happy with that?
No, I think it happened when it happened. I don't care. I mean, I see it as a nothing. They're just passionate about what they're doing and trying to work out things that went wrong on the spur of the moment after the game. I think it's, media see more into that than what's really happening.
But the reason we see it, Gus, is because we don't get to see that all the time. Like see it all the time. But I'm not privileged enough to be at every training session or in dressing rooms, and I don't get to see that sort of thing. So I get interested in that, and I like that they're having a bit of a crack at each other because it shows they care and they're interested.
Yeah,
but it is a story because we don't get to see that. We're not in your position. We're not in your position. Yeah. That's unusual for us.
I think the biggest thing you said there was they care, and I think that's the most important thing that fans and people need to understand. They're out there on the field. You don't understand how hard these guys train, how much effort goes into a game week in, week out, and for a play not to come off the way it should have, they question why. Why were you not there? Why was I here? Like, they want to know why.
But the media reaction to it and the way they comment on it, oh, well, there must be trouble in the camp or there must be trouble between the two, that's what will send it underground again. Players will now know not to do it in front of the media and not to do it on the field. They'll take it inside there and you'll never see it again. So, if you want to see the rawness behind football teams and what they're doing, then why read into it something that's not there? Why then to try to suggest that there's trouble in the camp or these two obviously don't like each other or it's a sign of frustration for the Panthers because they lost? It's not. It's part of the competitive nature of the players involved.
Gus, today Latrell spoke, and they're playing obviously this week against Penrith, and he said that he has noticed cracks in the windscreen, and that's an interesting thing for a player to say about his opposition team, isn't he? Like, so he's fueling that a little bit today, and good on him for saying it. I think it's an interesting comment. I don't know whether there's any truth in it from your perspectives. I don't know. Like,
we've had one round. We've had one round and they got beaten. They were the premiers. They dominated so dominantly last year. They really did. They were so far in front of everyone else. It does not surprise me they're going to come back to the pack this year. I think they will when you see some of the players that are not on that side this year. But Latrell's just playing the game and doing it very, very well.
Sounds like a thing you'd say, Gil.
100%. He's doing a good job.
Do you think he probably didn't get 10 grand for saying it?
Probably not.
Chinks in the armour, Gus, for the Panthers?
No. I don't think so, no. They've had 2 games in wet conditions, early season. A lot of their players played in the World Cup, probably didn't get back till mid-January to train. I expect them to be a little bit slow starting this year, and I think they'll be fine. I think a lot of their players, I said it the other night, 9 or 10 of their key players still haven't hit the prime of their career yet. They're still young footballers. The oldest is Asai Yeo, and he's just 28. He's only just now coming into his sweet spot. They've got 9 or 10 of the best players in the world in their particular positions. They'll sort it out, and when they're ready, they'll still be dominant.
Gus, people like me in the media are obsessed with the departure of Appy, and we keep sort of bringing it up. Are we barking up the wrong tree, or is it a genuine issue?
He's a loss. He's a loss, but I think you saw at the back end of the game the other night when Sonny Luke come on. Yep. There is a plan. There is a plan for that. And it's going to mean greater responsibility for Nathan and Jerome. It's going to mean greater responsibility for Dylan Edwards, who didn't play in any trials, mind you. They'll work it out. Appy's a loss, but Appy was never going to be there forever anyway. He's in his 30s and these kids are still in their mid-20s. They're going to have to learn to play without him at some time. Sonny Luke's a very, very good player, and the game actually changed a little bit when he came on the field the other night. He's more like Appy than people will ever realise.
Should he get more minutes this Thursday against the
Well, that's something for the coach just to gain confidence. Now, they've been starting with Mitch Kenny because Mitch Kenny's been part of the team for the past couple of years, and Mitch can play lock and front row and does all that as well. I thought they probably left Sonny off the field a little bit too long the other night, but the closeness in the scores probably dictated what they did there. And as time goes on, I'm quite sure that Sonny Luke will get more time.
Gus, do you believe? I honestly don't believe they can be as dominant as they were last year. I really don't. You got to remember they won the minor premiership by 4 points. They were pretty much had it sewn up with 6 weeks to go. Yeah. They were so dominant. Now I still think they'll finish top 4. I got no doubt in that. I think they'll come good and finish top 4, but I just can't see them being as dominant as they were last year.
Well, it's hard to be great forever. I mean, they've been in the last 3 grand finals. I think that's pretty dominant. I think it's a tremendous era that the club's going through. And there's greater competition this year. I think the Cowboys and the Sharks have improved. I think South Sydney showed again the other night. The Sharks-South Sydney game was probably the best quality game of the weekend. There'll be other contenders. The games won't be easy. But when they get down to September, they'll be the ones with the experience, and they've got the representative class players, they've got the Origin stars, they've got the international stars. That's great experience. They know how to win finals games. They know how to win them by a lot. They know how to win them by a point. So I'm not worried about that at all.